Hello everyone, very good morning. Welcome back. In this session, let's discuss the content that we're going to learn in the live sessions starting from last week of February. Before I directly jump into the content, let's see what can you expect from this, and I request everyone to see the video till the end so that you don't miss anything in between. So let's get started. The first thing is whoever enrolls to these live sessions, I will provide two Power BI service accounts with Pro and Premium Producer license style for 60 days. You can use first one as the primary account and second one as a test account so that you can practice in a better way. And everything will be in practical and less theory. All the discussions we will have in these sessions will be helpful for you and also for your career. And all the videos that are recorded during this live sessions will be shared to your drive and you can access them whenever you want. But remember, these videos are just to view, but we cannot download these videos. That is something you have to understand. And we will have a WhatsApp group per batch. So any interactions and doubt clarifications, we can interact in this WhatsApp group. I will share all the data sources and demo PBX files for your reference. These things you can download and keep it with you. I will also provide various assignments in between so that you can also work on these assignments. And at the end, we'll also discuss a project. So I'll try to provide one real case scenario with end-to-end requirements so that you can work on that, so that you'll also get more confidence on Power BI, and also you get more confidence while working in the real time. And most of them will be real time environment. I have my own server and work machines. I will show in the same way how we usually work in the real time. And also at the end, once everything is done, we will also discuss a few things specific to interview. So all these things you're going to get in these live sessions. Now let's see the content of what we're going to learn. So it's not just Power BI Service and Power BI Desktop. It is all the Power BI stack, I can say. So it is, I have divided into four different segments: development, deployment, administration, and the query language. So in development, we can see Power BI Desktop and SSS Tabular model and Azure services. And deployment, we can see cloud deployment, which is Power BI service, and on-premises deployment, which is Power BI report server. And administration also, it's more of cloud. We have something called admin portal in Power BI service. I will show each and every option there and how the admins can work in Power BI real time and what are their activities and everything. And query language. And for someone who is coming from a non-technical background or technical background with no SQL experience, I'm going to cover some SQL basics. So we don't require complete SQL for Power BI. At least we need to know like how to extract the data and how to query the data and how to understand the SQL query. So that part I will make you understand so that you'll also get confidence in Power BI, and we will see DAX expressions as well. So this is something, the summarized view, like what we are going to discuss. Now let's see each and every topic and what are the things we are going to learn. So this is Power BI Desktop. So we'll start with intro to Power BI Desktop and the architecture and installation, and how can we extract data from multiple sources using get data, and where we can see multiple sources here, not just one or two, at least 10 different sources we will discuss in these sessions. And we will also see different options available and various tabs and windows in Power BI Desktop environment. And we will learn what is import mode, direct query mode, composite models, and difference between all these things, and relationships, cardinality, and how can we approach for star schema data modeling, and filter propagations, bidirectional filters, and how can we overcome that, and different data model layouts, and different properties of a table and column, and all other options available in this Power BI Desktop. And one more thing, I don't want to mislead you with all the options available in Power BI Desktop, because a few institutes and other people, what they do is they will keep all the options from Power BI Desktop in these slides or whatever the content they're going to provide. So that looks very big, and you also think they are providing more. So that's not how it works. So various option means everything. So I don't want to list each and every option to mislead you. And next we will jump into Power Query. We have many things to cover here. So first we will see what is ETL and understand what is ETL and ELT and difference between these two, and different data types that Power BI supports, and how can we cleanse the data and transform the data, and we can see how to pivot and unpivot, and with everything with examples. Even in this session, some SQL also involved. So whatever the operations we do in Power Query, few SQL operations also will perform the same way. So in these sessions, I will also compare these options with SQL so that you understand better. And we have merge operations. We also use append operations, and where we can use parameters, and we have many options to cover there. So once this is done, we can jump into report development. So you'll see some default visuals. So we have, I think, close to 20 default visuals available, or 25. So we'll see most of the visuals and some custom visuals also. Again, custom visuals depends on different factors. Few companies encourage to use custom visuals. Few companies don't use custom visuals. It all depends on your project and the requirement you're going to do. So I'll try to cover a few custom visuals, and we will see how can we work on them. And we will discuss on slicers, filters, and the formattings, like we have page formatting, visual formatting, and conditional formatting as well. And we'll see bookmarks, shapes, and images, and how can you improvise the look and feel of the reports. So that is something about Power BI. So don't think it is very less. Actually, it is very more, but I'm not giving each and every option there. That's the only thing. And next, we will jump into Power BI service and report server. So here we can see the overview of Power BI service and how to publish the reports and workspaces, and what are workspaces and how can we use them, and what are reports, dashboards, and workbooks, and difference between all these things, and what are data sets and data flows and difference between these things, and how can we share the content. We use apps, workspaces, and also share option to share the content to the other users inside the organization. So we will see how those works, because I'm going to provide two different accounts to you. You can also share in the same way. So like how I demonstrate in the live session, the same way you can also share the content from one account to other account and compare how the other user also see from their end. So this will be helpful for you if you work in the real-time environment, because being the developer, you can also understand how the business user will see from their end. That is why I'm going to provide two different accounts for you. And you will see template apps and apps such as content packs and a few settings in datasets and endorsements and share datasets, streaming datasets, push datasets. There are many things to discuss in Power BI service. And we'll also see some alerts and subscriptions, and we'll also bring Power Automate in picture, which is Microsoft Flow. How can we send some alerts in Power BI to different people inside the organization? And we will see how can we configure the gateways. We have majorly two different gateways, which is enterprise gateway and personal gateway. And how can we do load balancing and gateway clustering and different gateway roles. And we can also see incremental refresh and deployment pipelines, and understand difference between Power BI Pro and Premium. What not everything in Power BI service, I can say. So everything we will discuss in a very detailed manner. So you can trust me on this. I will make you understand each and every part of Power BI service. So once our cloud deployment is done, we will go to Power BI report server. This is something in few companies we see this report server. So majorly in the financial companies, banking and financial sector, so they don't prefer to go to cloud deployment. So they prefer to go with on-prem deployment. So if you know SSRS reporting, it will be easy for you to understand. But still, I'll also help you from the very scratch, like how to install this report server, how to configure this. And we have one more desktop called Power BI Report Server Desktop, which is second Power BI desktop, I can say, compared to existing the normal Power BI desktop. So we'll see how that differs from the existing one, and how to create the visuals and reports in this Power BI desktop, report server desktop. And I'll also introduce to paginated reports, which is .rdl files, like how we call PBX files, which is extension for Power BI. So .rdl is something extension for paginated reports. And we will see how to deploy to this report server, all the reports and everything. And we will see how to distribute the content. We have something called subscriptions in Power BI report server as well. We will see how to subscribe to the reports and how can we share the content to the users inside our organization. And we can see permissions as well in this report server. So all these things we can cover in Power BI service sessions. And again, in the service, there's something called admin portal. So coming to this section, we will see the overview of Office 365 portal, and how to add the users and remove the users, and how to assign the roles, and how to assign Power BI admin role, and how to purchase these licenses in your organization. and especially how to work with admin portal. So even though you're working as a developer, you should be aware of all these things so that you also know what happens in the company and what happens around you with respect to administration. And the major thing the admins will do is they will collect the usage metrics and audit logs, and they'll also do the proper settings, which is we call as tenant settings in the complete organization level. We will see all these things, and we'll also see difference between workspace admins, gateway admins, and Power BI admin and global admin. So we'll discuss this in detail. And the same security, we have different roles. Like as part of Power BI service, we'll also discuss these roles again: workspace roles and app roles. So we can restrict the content to specific users. So we will see that. In the same way, we have something called role level security, which is we call as RLS. So in the Power BI desktop, we create this RLS, and once you publish back to Power BI service, we can also do something here. So we will see what is RLS and how to create the security and different types of role level securities, and how can we use Azure Active Directory in this role level security, and how can we create security groups in Azure portal. We will see everything in detail. And also we'll discuss how to work on Power BI PowerShell and Power BI APIs. Not only admin, sometimes developers also need to work on these things. There will be some specific scenarios or specific requirements from the business. They need to see some kind of information in the Power BI level. So that time we will use these PowerShell commands and Power BI APIs to get it done. So we'll see all these things with examples in the live sessions. And next thing is SSIS tabular model and Azure Answer Services. So in few companies, they use this one instead of Power BI Desktop for data modeling. So we will know like why they are going to use these things, and how can we work on this tabular model and how to deploy the models and everything. And we'll also see the cloud version of this one, which is Azure Answer Services. So I'll try to explain the difference between these things and how to install these SQL Server and how to configure the instances and how to install Visual Studio and SQL for data tools and how to create the projects and solutions. And we have two different types here, which is integrated workspace and workspace server, and difference between these things, and data modeling. And data modeling is same compared to Power BI desktop and tabular model, but there are a few differences. We will discuss all these things in live sessions. And here also we have something called roles. So what are the roles we have in Power BI? The same kind of roles also applicable here, but in different way. So whatever we do there, we'll do in different way in HSIS tabular model. So we'll also discuss in these things, and how to deploy these models to HSIS instance, and how to process. Process means say, refresh, like how can we refresh the models. In the Power BI service, we use a gateway to refresh the models, which we can schedule the refresh and we can refresh the data sets. Similarly, in SSS tabular model also, we can do refresh in multiple ways. We have different processing options like a process default, process full, process clear. Like how in Power BI desktop and a Power BI service, we use incremental refresh. Similarly, in SSS tabular model, we use something called partitions. So we'll see these things with examples. We have majorly import mode, direct query mode, and combination of these two, which is composite models. We also have one more thing, live connections. So for SSS tabular model or for AAS, which is Azure Answer Services, we call it as live connections. So we will see what are those live connections, and we'll see some DAX here and some model properties. So in the Visual Studio, if you try to create a model, we have different properties for each and every column and table and model specific properties. We will see all of them. And also we'll see how to schedule these models. It means how to process the models for data refresh. So we use SSIS, which is integration services, and SQL Server agent for these things. Now, once it is done, we'll jump into analysis services in Azure. So next, we'll jump into cloud, which is Azure Answer Services. So we'll see some overview on this and difference between SSAS and AAS, and how to create these instances in cloud, and understanding some metrics in Azure. So once you create the instance in cloud, there are different metrics to understand to work on these things. We will see all these things in detail, and we will see how to process the models. So processing is like refresh, which is different compared to on-prem and cloud. So here we use SSIS and SQL Server agent. Here we use something called Azure Automation, which is also part of cloud. So we need different PowerShell commands. And I prepared a solution for this when I was working on this. It is my solution. I will also give this to you. How can we process these models, and how can we schedule the models in Azure? And also we have same roles and security also for this one. So you will also see all these things in detail. And next, we will discuss on SQL basics and DAX. So coming to DAX, I always tell this to everyone. DAX is a version, and no one knows complete DAX. Even I don't know complete DAX. So the experience in DAX comes only depends on the projects you worked on and the business you work with, and also sometimes your own interest. So if you spend your own time to learn DAX, that's also possible. So I'll try to cover most of the functions, the regularly used functions in DAX with examples. So to name a few functions we can see here. So, but in general, the major topics in DAX is like measures, calculate columns and calculate tables, and calculation groups, some aggregation functions, iterative functions, logical functions, table functions, variables, and how to handle the blanks, percentages, averages. So that's something we generally do wherever you go. In all the projects, these will be helpful. That's why I'm trying to cover most of the functions I've been using, and that will be useful for you in your real time whenever you started working on DAX. And it is just for your reference, I just gave few, but we will discuss many more functions in the live sessions with examples. And also in SQL, we will see DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, and DQL, and relationships, integrity, referential integrity, which is primary and foreign key, and joins, filters, subqueries, condition statement, which are case statements, and views and stored procedures, and how to use inbuilt SQL functions, and how to use CTEs and inline queries. So these things will be enough for you to work on Power BI, especially with SQL. At least if you know how to extract the data and how to understand the queries and how to write a query, that will be helpful. So I will help you in that way. So that you can also get confidence in SQL Server as well. So this is the content flow. We start with SQL basics, then Power BI desktop and Power BI service, and SSS tabular model, and Azure services, DAX, project, and interview. And the location is Teams meeting, which is online. And I'm planning for two batches, weekday and weekend batch. Weekday would be 7 to 9 a.m. in the morning, Indian time. And the weekend would be 7 to 11 a.m. in the morning, Saturday and Sunday Indian time. And the content would be like a total of 45 to 50 hours. So we'll cover all these things in this time frame. Right? It means it is 5 weeks, I can say, like every week, 10 hours. So 5 weeks for weekday batches and 5 to 6 weeks for weekend batches. And also it is flexible. Like for example, if any topic that you know already, and if you want to skip, we can also do that. So it's completely you. So if you want to learn more, I am happy to help you. If you want to understand more, I will also explain multiple times. And finally, I always believe this: no one knows 100%, and it's a continuous learning process. So even though I've been working in Power BI since many years, I cannot say that I know everything, because it's all depends on your projects, your exposure, your business, and your self-interest to learn something. So all these matters to measure how knowledgeable you are. So even if you ask some questions to me, sometimes even I will be not in a position to answer them, because sometimes I also don't know these things, the questions. That time I will refer back and let you know the proper solution. So in the same way, even in your real time also, you might not know all the things in the DAX and the scenarios. Even I also experience these things. So if I'm working on something, sometimes I also stuck in between. I also have to depend on internet. That's general thing happens in the IT. So don't try to learn 100%. Try to learn as much as you can to survive in the industry. So keep that in mind. I will share all my experiences and knowledge with you so that you can survive in the industry with a very minimal support or without any additional support. I can say this confidently because most of my previous batch students got jobs in Power BI and they have survived in the real time. And thank you for your support so far, and I hope your support will still continue in future. For someone who is very new, this is Power BI Desktop. We will discuss all these things and all these options, each and everything here in these sections. And this is a report builder where we can develop that RDL report, which is page reports. We also see some part of it. And this is Power BI service, which is cloud deployment. And this is Power BI report server, which is on-prem deployment. And this is Azure services. So all these things we will see in real time. So that's all for now. Hope you understand what we are going to learn in the live sessions. So if anyone is interested to learn Power BI, the complete Power BI stack, you can post your email in the comments. I'll directly reach out to you, or you can also reach out to me directly on this email to discuss on other things. I believe this helps you to take some decision on Power BI. And thank you so much. Please share with your friends and if someone who is looking to learn Power BI, so that that will be helpful for them. And thank you so much. And thanks again. Bye, everyone.